2010, beginning of 2011, and my mom was staying in Gardena. I moved in with my mother. I believe I was the age of 27 at this time. 26, 27 at this time. I'm moving to California with her. Mind you, once again, I've had my own house, I've had my own car, but I was working about five jobs, four or five odd jobs. I didn't have a solid career. And my mom has been a nurse since I was like 14, maybe even before that, because she starts off, you start off like a LVN and then a CNA, and then you just work your way up the healthcare ladder. So that's what she did. She started working in nursing homes, and then she moved her way up, and then she started doing travel and nursing. And so the company that she was with had sent her to California, and then she just ended up staying there because she liked it so much. So then hence I ended up moving out there. But anyway, my mom was like, we got to get you a career. We got to get you something that's going to get you settled right now. Not right now, but right now. And I understood that. I was physically tired. I was tired, which anybody could be, understanding. I worked five jobs and was making it, but wasn't making it like I could have been. So anyway, my experience moving to California, it was mixed. When I first got here, I was all about trying to stay connected with friends and family that were still in Detroit because I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to change who I was or be changed because I knew that strong girls come from Detroit. So we built a different way. So I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want to turn into that softie. I didn't want to do all of that. So I fought and clashed with my mom's new husband several times over things that were big to me back then, but are now small to me now. And even though that swayed my decisions when I was first getting out there, it made it extremely hard to grow into, or excuse me, it made it extremely hard to not be that softie. It made it hard not to focus on things that I needed to accomplish because I was so worried about trying to cater to everything else that was around me. So I ended up moving in with my friend from college, and I loved it. It was way more freedom. It was back to what I was used to. You take a 27-year-old woman that has her own stuff already and move her back in with her parents that have rules and regulations and all of this stuff, and you clash. So it only made sense that when I moved out, I would be happy because I had my freedom back. The only issue was I still didn't have a job. I moved out here and I was putting in applications. I was putting in applications every day in California. I mean, everything. I would wake up like it was a job from 8 to 5. I would be putting in online things. And that would be like maybe for 2 or 3 days out of the week. And then the other days out of the week, I would physically go to places, go to the mall, grab a whole bunch of applications, sit my butt in the food court, fill out all these applications, re-deliver all of them, and then like take notes on tallies on where I put in applications at. Like I did all of that for a nice little minute. It's at least for the whole full year of half of the year. No, excuse me. I moved to California at the beginning of 2010 because I got that job in 2011. So I was jobless for at least 6 months of moving to California. And I got on county, I got food stamps, cleaned houses because I've had a cleaning business in Detroit before. That was one of my jobs. I tried to make it any way possible. So when I moved back in with my friend, or when I moved in with my friend, that gave me the freedom that I needed. It opened me up to meeting other people instead of always being around the same people in Gardena. It just opened up a lot of other opportunities, and I was grateful for that. I was grateful to have those moments. I was grateful to be around situations that were not so great, but made me learn from them, because we still gonna have those why me Lord moments, but you have to think about why you. And so I started thinking about why you. Oh, me, why you. But anyway, after living with my friend for about a year, my parents were getting rid of one of their cars. So they ended up giving me a car. It was a Pathfinder, a white Pathfinder, like a truck, and I loved it. I was so grateful. They was asking a lot monthly, but I was still grateful to have a car again and to not have to cut public transportation in sweltering heat and hear crazy people on the train all day and whatever. Like, I was grateful to have that car, so I did whatever I could to gas, car note, whatever it was, insurance. I made sure that that car was taken care of. And in the midst of just getting that car, my friend who I was living with had started to just make some bad decisions about the people who she was letting come stay with her, which I was not the only one. So then I started to feel, at first I was the only one, and then more and more people started to come and stay at her, which was already a small apartment, like crammed in there, and I just didn't feel comfortable or safe anymore staying there. So I actually went and I lived in my Pathfinder, and excuse my dog, that's her doing her thing. I lived in my Pathfinder for about 7 or 8 months until I got hired at the hospital that I worked at for 8 years. One of the things that got me to getting this new career, in the midst of clashing with my parents and whatnot, my mom suggested that I do EKGs. She's like, it's something that you can easily learn. We can pay $150 for you to go to this class, and you just have to buckle down and really do what you can to make it. And I did that course. I passed with flying colors. It was a 3-day course, lots of materials, passed the test, was so grateful. I applied to work at USC Keck Hospital, but they didn't hire me at first. So while I'm living in Pasadena, I'm working, and I'm also trying to get hired. I finished the class. I did what I had to do. I just realized that I didn't like double back and give y'all like the summary of how I got to get into this next step. So before I lived in my car, I finished this course, did what I had to do, and applied to try and get jobs at hospitals with this newfound certificate that I have, which was EKG monitoring and interpretations. If you guys don't know what EKG is the monitoring of your heart pulses and rhythms. Excuse me. So that's what I did. That's what I went to school for, went to that class for, to get the certificate for, and I was trying to get a job in that. So I applied at every hospital that I possibly could. But in the interim, I was working at Chipotle, which I still love Chipotle to this day. Chipotle is life, okay? So Chipotle, I worked there, and once again, my friend had let all these people stay with her, so it became uncomfortable, and then I made the decision, while I'm still working at Chipotle, to just live in my car. I was friends with a really great person from Detroit, and she ended up moving out here, so I would park my car in Compton in front of her grandma's house every night, because her grandma said I can't come stay with her because she already got too many people in the house, but I could come and park my car out front, and people would come and check on me, and if I needed anything, I could use their bathroom, little stuff like that. And I did that. I did that for a good, like I said, 7 or 8 months. I got really good with the manager at the CVS that was in Compton on Imperial, Artesia, and I think Avalon or whatever, and they ended up giving me like the code to their bathroom, so they would let me go and use their bathrooms early in the morning, before I would have to go to work. I would do laundry. I would still be making this income because I had a job, but I was still living in my car, and I didn't have enough money saved up to live in a place, because at this time they charging the least amount you're gonna find for an apartment that's at a good size and in a decent neighborhood is like 1,000 or 1,100, and I didn't have that. I'm still trying to save up money and take care of this car note and take care of this and take care of that. So it just became a point where I really just had to sit back and pray. And so my mom started asking me if I wanted to go to church with her. Once again, none of my family knows that I lived in a car, so this is me being transparent with you guys. And I believe to this day that it was because of their prayers and because of their love and strength that got me through living in my car for that long. But I made some great friends, which I'm actually still friends with a couple people to this day, because they met that Stephanie that was out there hustling in her car. And, it's funny because I thought that I would get more homegirls that would appreciate my hustle and my struggle, but I actually end up getting more homeboys that end up appreciate my struggle to this day. And it's so crazy because it also taught me not to judge a book by its cover. One of my great friends, his name is Cash. I met him at that time when I was living in my car, and he changed my brakes for me when I didn't have the money to. He was just graduating from aeronautical school, so he was able to help me change my brakes and teach me how to do things on my car. He was able to help me hustle up on money sometimes. I met a great guy named Corey who was able to help me pay for meals some nights and pay for me to, stay here some nights, or paid on this, or, whatever I needed help with. Like, I learned that I could count on men a little bit more in this situation, in a situation that's super duper scary to me, where I'm thinking that I can rely on women to understand and like latch onto me and be like, we got you, girl. It was actually the guys. And they didn't want nothing from me. I didn't sleep with any of these men. These were just men who was just like, dang, we see you, shorty. Like, we see you, ma. Boom, we got you. And I'm still really good friends with these people to this day. So that's a little embarking on that. Once I got hired at this hospital, which I worked at the Keck Medical Center of USC. Once I got hired, of course, I still had to wait to rack up on some paychecks. So I think it was like with my third or fourth paycheck, I went, by the graces of God, my friend was driving past this place in Linwood, which is like right off of the border of Compton. It's literally right, it's like that, it's that big. She was like, girl, we found this place that said they got a studio apartment for $700, utilities included. And I was like, yes, let's go look at it. So we went and we looked at it, and it was on the corner of a host roll. It was all Hispanic Mexican people who stayed in that neighborhood, and I don't speak not a lick of Spanish. I saw like maybe 2 or 3 people sprinkled in, but mind you, like, we're bordering Compton, so if you hit the corner on this side, it's none but black people. But if you hit this corner, it ain't none but Hispanic people, and you just be like, what? On top of it being a host row, it was a host row. It was girls on the corner, pimps riding down the street, money being made, exchanges, all that type of stuff. So I'm like, okay, do I live in my car? Or do I live in this apartment that's off a host row? And so I did. I got out of my car. The manager was like, okay, well, we have several units open. Come and pick your unit. So I got to pick which apartment I wanted to live in, which was awesome because they were all very tiny studio apartments. But the apartment that I ended up picking was like almost like a 1-bedroom, which I really loved it. But it was roach infested. It was, once again, on a host row. It was everything that you wouldn't want to move into. But do I stay in my car, or do I move into this place and upgrade it to the best of my abilities? That's exactly what I did. And once again, with the help of those guy friends, with the help of people that I had, acquired upon my journey, I was able to make that place nice. I went and got me an air mattress. I had bounce TV. I had an old school ugly TV. I forgot where I got the TV from, but it was sitting on some like a stepping stool, and I had an air mattress and that TV in that room for a minute, and that's all I had for a minute. I was getting meals and stuff that I would have from work, because I'm still working, but I still don't have enough paychecks saved up or whatever, and I'm working. Long story short, that was a beautiful struggle, and I say that was a beautiful struggle because I met some great people. I upgraded that place so nicely. If I could have took a before and after, y'all would be like, wow. But I do have a lot of friends that can attest and comment down below how great that apartment was when I left. But nobody could tell you how bad that apartment was when I moved in but me, because I'm the one that had to do all of the work to get it right. But after I did so, it was great because I was determined, I was confident, I was happy finally to have some good work. And even though they had only hired me at $16 an hour for something that I had no experience in, I was grateful. I got benefits now. I'm working at USC. And on top of that, I'm getting $16 an hour. I'm taking it. So I was happy. I was stacking my money. I was working 24-hour shifts. I was picking up extra shifts. I was determined. I'm very mental and photographic memory. So when I was learning something, it was easy for me to hold on to it and to try and make it my own and better it. So I ended up working on the medical surgery floor that I worked on, doing EKGs or monitoring people on their heart boxes for almost 5 or 6 years. But the day of my interview, the manager said to me, by the time I retire, if I end up hiring you, by the time I retire, you need to have or be on the road to figuring out what you want to do, because I don't want you sitting behind this desk forever. I don't want you to get comfortable with this. This is just a stepping stone to get you to the next level. And at first I didn't understand it, because I'm like, hold on, shorty, I'm making good money. At USC, they give you a raise every year, so I'm making raises. At 5 years, by this time, I'm already at like $20 an hour, so I'm like, hold on, I'm straight. I didn't took trips to Hawaii. I didn't pay my debts off. I didn't, fix my apartment up. I end up being in another horrible relationship. We'll get into that in a second. But I end up doing so much things to overcome so much that I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna take that. But anyway, as you can see, I end up taking it, and it was actually really the best decision that I made for my life because it got to the next step of my journey, which we'll get into that in another video.